3 generations of farmers built this land, and in one brutal drought, Elias Rivas realized he might be the one who loses it. The email promised salvation: 3 autonomous farming machines that could see every plant, think for themselves, and save a dying farm. What happened next transformed a bankrupt farmer into the commander of the most intelligent farm on Earth. The land had forgotten the taste of rain. What should have been a sea of green stood brittle and yellow, rattling like dry bones in the wind. Elias Rivas had spent his whole life learning how to grow food from soil, but now the soil was turning to dust in his hands. Farmers are taught to trust seasons, not miracles. So when the email arrived promising machines that could see, think, and farm, it didn't feel like hope. It felt like a gamble with the last piece of his family's legacy. They didn't arrive with the roar of engines, but with the quiet hum of something new. Not tractors, not tools, something that looked back when you looked at it. Elias had walked these fields for decades, but the machines saw what he couldn't. Every leaf, every blemish, every silent cry for help. For the first time, the farm wasn't just land. It was data alive. On the screen, his farm breathed in pixels and patterns. A living map of roots and leaves. 40 years of instinct suddenly translated into numbers. And with one tap, Elias gave his first command. Where once he sprayed fields in hope, now a single drop landed with surgical precision. The pests died. The ladybug lived. And the ecosystem began to remember how to balance itself. At 3 in the morning, while Elias slept, the machines were listening. To moisture in the soil, to humidity in the air. They turned a valve and quietly saved a harvest from rot. Weeds had always meant aching knees and bleeding fingers. Now a flash of light erased them, without poison, without scars. The future of farming didn't smell like chemicals. It smelled like clean earth. Somewhere between sunrise and lunch breaks, Elias stopped seeing machines and started seeing teammates. He talked. They listened in their own way. For the first time, Elias didn't guess. He knew how many tomatoes, how sweet they'd be, even the day they'd be ready. The future wasn't uncertain anymore. The sky darkened, not with rain but with wings, a swarm that could erase months of work in minutes. But the machines had already calculated the threat. And before fear could take hold, they fought back. It was scheduled. When the engineer left, the field felt different, quieter. Elias wasn't just a farmer anymore. He was giving orders, and the land was answering. For generations they fed the plants. Now they were feeding the soil itself. Beneath the surface, life stirred: fungi, microbes, unseen networks. The farm wasn't just growing crops. It was healing. The machines didn't sleep. Under sun and starlight, they worked in perfect rhythm. Rows grew tighter. Harvests grew larger. 50 acres began to feed like 200. Harvest used to mean chaos. Now it sounded like a soft mechanical whisper. Each tomato picked at the moment of perfection. No waste. No shouting. Just quiet abundance. Winter was no longer the end of the story. It was preparation. Branches shaped for spring. Soil mapped for life. The farm was learning to think ahead. Neighbors called it unnatural, said machines were replacing men. But the truth was simpler. The land was producing again. And survival has always been the strongest argument. The debt burned away in a field of ash and memory. And fences that had divided families for decades came down. Not conquered land, but land given another chance to grow. When asked what he did for a living, Elias paused. He didn't say farmer. He didn't say technician. He said, I manage an ecosystem. And for the first time it felt true. The tomatoes were sweeter than he remembered. The soil darker. The air alive with bees. The machines moved like quiet guardians in the distance. They hadn't taken his job. They had given him back the simple joy of watching something grow.